Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my lovely day off. And today I will be talking about a fragrance that a lot of y'all are really excited about. A lot of y'all demanded for me to do. This is the most demanded one on my next batch. I mean, this batch that I got of current samples, current releases. And I'm so excited to tell y'all the lowdown on this latest Ex Nihilo fragrance. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel. Guys, we just hit 23,000 subscribers. We're headed towards 24K. So please continue all your support, guys. Deep dive into my over 700 no hype videos. They're there for you guys to decide, what to buy next. I am not an influencer. I'm trying to, not trying to get you guys to buy any of this. I just really analyze and, deep dive and review all these fragrances, no hype and no hate, and it's up to you to decide. So welcome to the channel. Thank you. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than, again, the latest Ex Nihilo. This is none other than Hedonist Extrait De Parfum. Yes, Hedonist Extrait De Parfum. Yes, and this one right here, Hedonist, what can I say? I mean, this is an extrait of one of their most popular top-selling perfumes, all right? The Hedonist by Ex Nihilo. And this house is really gaining a lot of ground in popularity within Fragcom. I mean, Blue Talisman, without a doubt, is a really, really good perfume. I did review that. That will be in the review library, guys. But Hedonist right here, okay, you guys are probably wondering, why didn't I just review Hedonist first before going into the Xray? Well, the thing about the Hedonist, guys, is that at the end of the day, it's like a Tygar clone, all right? It's one of those Tygar adaptations. And, I've had a sample or two over the past like 3 months, and no matter what I do, it really ends up with me saying, well, this is another Tygar clone. All right, which means you sell it to the general audience, and some of them, I mean, maybe most of them, will not, have that experience of smelling the very expensive Bulgari Tygar and will be mesmerized by the smell of Hedonist and therefore buy it. All right. So, but Hedonist is really, pretty much a Tygar clone. It has all the aspects that, make Tygar what it is, whether it's your grapefruit or your ginger, right? The classic Tygar formula and some patchouli. It's all in there. So that's the reason why I kind of skipped this one. But the thing about this is that, Xray seems to be a different formula, all right? Seems to be a modified formula. And really, the Xray stuff is taking Fragcom by storm. So Dior has been doing Xrays, Amouage has always been doing it. And the cool part about Xray versions, at least to me, is that a lot of them don't smell like the OG, all right? Like, the name of the OG might be there, but a lot of them do not smell, or it's a really nice modified adaptation of the OG. So this one right here has been getting some fanfare. Some people are loving it. Some people are kind of 50-50 over it. And there are some modifiers. So that's what we'll talk about today. How is this different from the Tygar formula Hedonist OG? And is it worth your time to even check out or even buy? So let's go spray this thing right now. Okay, guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here, Hedonist Extrait De Parfum by Ex Nihilo. And as y'all know, a hedonist is a pleasure-seeking person, a pleasure seeker, right? So anyways, let's talk about this right here. If you look at the notes, it seems like, okay, it's Bulgari Tygar all over again. You have the classic Tygar formula combination of grapefruit, ginger, and bergamot, right? But let me tell y'all that the opening of Extrait De Parfum comes out quite differently, guys. Why? Because the biggest modifier right here, the biggest change I would say in this fragrance is the lychee note. All right, this lychee note inserted here to me really changes the game. And it is listed as a mid note, but it is that strong that it starts going into the opening of this fragrance. As a matter of fact, it really modifies the intro so that you don't just get the same old Tigar smell. All right, so this lychee is very prominent. It's a juicy, thick, I would say even intense lychee accord that comes here and makes it fruity. All right, it's kind of like a fruity, juicy, lychee smell that really modifies the intro of this fragrance. And I was quite surprised because I was like, well, by the notes, if you look at the breakdown, I was supposed to get the same old Tigar and the lychee was listed in the mid, but no, it does change the start of this fragrance, guys. And it's a really important thing because it's really a difference, okay? And I would say that the lychee here is juicy, fruity, and lingering, and it's not gonna go away. It doesn't actually, in the beginning, it doesn't immediately share space with the Tigar part of this thing, but the lychee is really, really nice. Now, the thing about this lychee, I'm gonna say, is that it is going to be a difference. So if a lot of y'all were expecting a difference, that's what you want, then that is exactly what you will get. All right, there is a differentiator here versus the standard, Tigar formula Hedonist. All right, and the thing about this lychee is it also, I would say, can be interpreted in a couple ways. This lychee can be, you can say, a femme or unisex modifier because lychee is a fruity note that's really used in a lot of femme fragrances, right? I wouldn't say, like, to me, it doesn't really pass off as femme, but I can see some people saying, okay, well, that took this fragrance into, more unisex territory, more usable by the women, thanks to that fruity lychee note. It's actually pretty prominent in the beginning. Some people, like I said, will look at it like that. The way I look at the lychee is more of like, kind of like a pink pomelo blend in the intro. Because at the end of the day, this lychee will kind of fade away and you will smell kind of like the Tigar formula creep up again. But because you have that nice modifier, that fruity lychee modifier, it feels like, a pink grapefruit pomelo concoction. But nevertheless, let me tell y'all that this lychee is prominent. It is dominant in the beginning, and it is the big modifier or changing aspect in Extrait De Parfum. Okay, now let's talk about initial sillage and projection of this fragrance, all right? Hedonist Extrait De Parfum. This fragrance, to me, was pretty intense, all right? It's pretty intense because I haven't even talked about, like, the Tigar side of things, right? The Tigar formula. But the lychee on its own, but you add, some of the rest right there of the intro is actually pretty strong, all right? And it's stronger than I thought because when I tested this fragrance, I sprayed it sparingly. I had a feeling that this might be pretty strong as an Xray. And even when I sprayed, I think like 4 sprays, some people could actually smell me literally across the room. All right, so it's one of those that might be pretty intense. So I would spray it sparingly because of that intensity, guys. All right, so 4 sprays was more than enough for me to create kind of like almost like a room filling type of sillage. But when you're wearing this thing, because it's kind of like a Tigar, you have kind of like aura scent feels. It's like an aura around you, pretty strong. But you also have, of course, draw in feels because of the spiciness that I'll talk about in a few, guys. But nevertheless, it is intense. I'd say spray this sparingly. Okay, so here's a big important question. What is the coverage of the lychee? All right, because the rest of it really is your Tigar formula. Again, this is your grapefruit, your bergamot, as well as your ginger. And I'm sure you're probably asking, so is this going to be a blend of it, or do I get mostly lychee? Am I still going to get the Tigar side of things? The answer is yes, all right? You are. And it's going to be a prominent Tigar side of things, guys, okay? Because the lychee, to me at least, really lasted from 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, again, it's a nice modifier, changes things, gives you something different, to start off. But, of course, eventually you will get the Tigar formula. And what's really great about that, at least for me, is that you get the best of both worlds, right? For those that are fans of the original, that are looking for something like that, but stronger, because this one I felt was stronger than the OG Hedonist. You're gonna get that stronger Tiger formula with that modifier that, at least you can say, well, it smells different, right? Because of the lychee. But eventually, after that 45-minute mark, the Tiger formula creeps in and takes most of the airspace. And this, like, Tiger side of things with the ginger, the warming spice of ginger, and the grapefruit, classic stuff. Compliment hoarding stuff. This stuff will actually last you up to 3 hours into the fragrance, guys. All right, so you will get Tiger style, all right, in an intense version, stronger version with Hedonist Extrait De Parfum, again, shared with that lychee. So you'll have, the best of both worlds, like I said. Now, on the mid notes, you have your classic Akigala wood, which is kind of like a patchouli note with some peppery spice in there. And this one blends in nicely with the ginger, like I said, the Tiger formula. It gets pretty woody also with some cedar. And again, the lychee, which is listed as the mid note, actually pops out in the beginning and disappears within an hour. But I would say that mostly the mid of this fragrance is spicy and woody, okay? Ginger going into Akigala wood and cedar wood, all right? So I would say too that this mid actually sets up as a more masculine modifier, okay? Thanks to that, peppery, gingery, woody, like mid. I would say that this one, like in the beginning, maybe you could say that it's more unisex because of the lychee modifier. But the mid is peppery, woody, spicy, draw in, I would say really masculine. All right, that is the mid of Extrait De Parfum of the Hedonist. Okay, so now here's something interesting to say, that this fragrance actually, to me, settled down in 7 hours. That's a long time till the settle down period, guys. I mean, this fragrance is strong, it's intense in the intro. Again, you might not feel it, but damn, people from across the room will. And it's pretty thick, I guess, because it's an Xray, guys, right? And that intensity and strength maintains throughout, and I felt like, it kind of just settled down after several hours, all right? So that's really good performance, especially from the notable parts of this fragrance, the lychee, the Tiger formula, the masculine style mid. You're gonna get a lot more performance over the first 7 hours. Now, the Drydown. Let's talk about this Drydown right here. Seems like the modifier is amberwood and tonka bean, right? But actually, based on my testing, this Drydown is only slightly sweet. All right, and I know when you see amber and tonka bean, you're thinking, it's gonna be a ambery, like a really amber sweet, tonka bean sweet type of ending. And that would, on paper, if you look at it, it might seem like another unisex modifier. But actually, on my testing, it was only slightly sweet. The notes of vetiver and patchouli dominate this Drydown, guys. All right, and vetiver is an earthy, grassy smell, kind of smoky, guys. And then, of course, you have patchouli that does continue the trend from Akigala wood with the woodiness and tenaciousness of the patchouli. It mixes in with that vetiver. And the amber tonka is only slightly sweet. And it's probably not even really that noticeable. For me, I really got a lot of masculine vetiver and that patchouli over this amber modifier right here. So I thought it was going to be like another unisex pull, but no, I would say that this Drydown here, which again starts like 6 to 7 hours in, is a lot more masculine than expected. The mid and the Drydown feels masculine. So I stand with what I thought, that I think that, the intro with the lychee is, again, some people might interpret it as a femme modifier, but for me, it's kind of like a pink grapefruit, kind of like a pomelo kind of modifier in the intro, making it slightly fruitier, but ultimately, this thing is a lot more masculine. Okay, so what do I think of this fragrance, Hedonist Extrait De Parfum? All right, again, this is an offshoot of Hedonist, which is kind of like a Tiger clone, Bulgari Tiger clone. And the thing I'm going to say is that, this Bulgari formula, all right, the reason why it's copied like a million times is because it is really one of the biggest compliment, getting formulas, I would say. that I've ever tried in trying almost 1,000 perfumes or more at this point, guys. I would say that this formula, it's going to be copied over and over. I mean, without Bulgari really putting a stand on it and increasing maybe their marketing, companies will try to copy Tigar. And there's a lot out there that I don't even want to mention them. There's just too many, but Hedonist is one of them. And just like how people copy Aventus and even Hachivat, and they kind of rebottle it and put it out there in the audience so they can grab a piece of the market, a piece of the pie. It's just really that good, guys. All right. Now, what you get here is a strong one. It's a strong modifier of that, but there are also other strong versions of the Tigar formula that are actually cheap as well. And one of them is Black Panther by Alexandria. I really stand by that as one of the best Tigar clones that's really intense and strong. I gotta say, this Black Panther. And, it's room filling. It does the same thing. It is compliment getting. So there are options out there for stronger Tigar formula type fragrances, all right? Cheaper and stronger because, damn, this thing is a sticker shock. Now, the modifier, though. The big modifier is going to be that lychee, all right? And is it enough for you to buy something like this? I would say try first because it's only like one modifier. The amber and the tonka are not, to me, really relevant modifiers here. Like I said, it was only slightly sweet, but the intro is really nice. Like I said, it is a juicy, fruity, lychee intro. But is it worth going into paying over $375 or even, man, I see right here $440? I don't know. All right. I mean, it's one modifier. It's a nice modifier, but I don't know for the $400. And if you're going to reason that, oh, this is very strong as the Tigar formula, strong, like I said, Black Panther will do the job. So really, it boils down to, I don't know, maybe some people have never tried the Tigar formula or are not informed by other alternatives or even clones that perform really, really well. And, maybe this is for the boutique people again, those that are going to go to a Neiman Marcus, try it for the first time, fall in love with the Tigar formula without knowing what it is, fall in love with the lychee, and buy this thing. And they got, deep pockets for $375, no big deal. Maybe that's for, again, Neiman Marcus crowd, boutique crowd, maybe that's what it's for. But I would say this one is a try first. As good as this is, I like the lychee. Of course, I love the Tigar formula. It's always gotten me compliments. I just know more, all right? And I know the alternatives. So this is a try first. Got this sample from Zigo Perfumery. I'm not sponsored by them. Maybe you want to tell them to sponsor me because I buy a ton of stuff, a ton of samples from Zigo. But yeah, this is a try first because, like I said, the price is gonna hit you. $375. I guess you could say, I mean, if you compare that versus Tigar, which is, I think, on the same pricing, like $400 with the tax and all, then that's competitive. If we're going like Tigar full bottle versus Hedonist Extrait full bottle, I would probably do the Xray because it's got a nice fruity modifier. But again, that's to be tested as well because maybe some of y'all will not even like that. The additional lychee, fruity part in the beginning, guys. All right. So I think this is really a try first because of the sticker shock. And there, again, a lot of alternatives for Tigar style fragrances are actually strong. All right. Now, usage wise, guys, of course, this is going to be a grabber, upscale grabber. This is going to be the fragrance that will rack you up some compliments. You smell good. What is that? Oh my God, you smell so great. Nothing new. This is a Tigar thing. So this will rack you up some compliments. And it is really all weather. I wouldn't say that this is even like a fall winter, like a real like wintry type of fragrance. But it is thick and strong enough that, it will be resilient to any type of cold weather, guys. All right. So usage wise, I would say this is anytime, anywhere. Much like Tigar, the lychee, I would say, is a nice mood enhancer, mood setter. So you can use this fragrance as a mood enhancer. Plus, compliment beast. That is the usage of Hedonist Extrait De Parfum. And finally, total performance on this fragrance is over 12 hours, but really the most intense parts, like I said, I mean intense, guys, really strong and thick and intense, I would say first 7 hours of this fragrance. Settled down after that. And then I would say that the dry down up to 12 hours or past 12 hours is like, here and there. But like I said, because the amber and the tonka bean aren't really that prominent on this dry down, guys, it's going to be a smooth, like nice vetiver, like woody vetiver type of dry down. So don't expect a lot of sillage towards the end of this fragrance. Again, this one is opening to mid to 7 hours in, prominent in terms of the performance. But nevertheless, I was still able to smell this fragrance past 12. That's the performance of this fragrance. And that is it. That is my no hype review on the latest Ex Nihilo fragrance. Again, part of their Xray series. Man, everybody's doing this. But again, that's cool that they're doing this. I think, MFK is coming out with a couple ones that I'm excited about. But yeah, this is the Extrait version of the Hedonist. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this fragrance, boys and girls. I mean, yeah, test this first. That's all I gotta say, because damn, it's kind of expensive. But nevertheless, great fragrance. At least for me, the usage is all there. And, you can't really beat the Tigar formula. Nice modifier too, guys. Let me know in the comments if you've tried this fragrance. And if you have any suggestions of Ex Nihilo fragrances that I haven't tried, that's not the Hedonist, that's not Blue Talisman, and you want it on this channel, comment below. And I will definitely look into it, guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. I will be back tomorrow with another one. Enjoy your day, guys. God bless. Take care. Peace.